important lesson, and I've always taken it to heart throughout my time as an avid superhero fan. Naturally, I'm a fan of the pure-hearted heroes like Supergirl, whose inherent instinct is to help wherever she can. However, I sometimes have a hard time relating to her constant need to be good. I find many more similarities in the morality department when I look at heroes like Han Solo or Sylvie, also known as Lady Loki. She's questionable as a hero, but that's really not the point. The point is that sometimes I struggle with doing the right thing. You might even consider me reluctant. It doesn't come as naturally to me as it does for others, and sometimes I simply don't feel like it. However, if Han Solo can turn around and help Luke destroy the Death Star, the least I can do is help clean up and pick up trash when asked for volunteers. It might not be what I want to do, but I recognize that the action is what matters, and doing the right thing is way more important than wanting to. These reluctant heroes have shown me that I'm allowed to do the, not necessarily heroic thing, but the right thing, and be a little bit annoyed about it at the same time. As our service continues, you will hear from other members of SchZFTY and their take on reluctant heroes. Once again, thank you for joining us, and Gemar Chatima Tova.
Please rise for the Barhu. And if you know the melody, go ahead and join in. Yalalai lai lai, 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 yalalai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayers? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalalai lai lai, 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 yalalai lai lai. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalalai lai lai, 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 yalalai lai lai. And now we're going to go ahead and move into the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Mahuto Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad.
Clouseau. The first time I ever heard that name, Clouseau was a little nobody, a police officer in some little village far outside of Paris. He was the village idiot as far as I could tell. Now this man was right. Clouseau was in fact an idiot. But what made him so special? Clouseau was a police officer from a small village solving local crime, or at least he thought he was. He would take up small causes attempting to solve the mystery, or he'd just accuse people stupidly until he'd get the job done. At this point, although his work ethic needed some fixing, in the end, he would accomplish his goals. At this point, Clouseau was called to duty in Paris to take up a theft and murder case. Although the attempt seemed innocent, in reality, it was not. The idea for Clouseau was for Clouseau to plot along getting nowhere with the media watching his every step while the chief inspector puts together the finest team of investigators in France to find the killer himself. Now, throughout the movie, it seems like Clouseau has actually gotten nowhere. But what we don't know is that Clouseau had almost pieced this mystery together. Sadly, before he could close the case, the chief inspector set him up to get arrested so that he can denounce his title from inspector and take over the case and make the arrest himself. Following Clouseau's arrest, the chief inspector made a remark saying, "When I made you inspector, it was not because I thought you had any value as a detective. It was because I thought you were the stupidest policeman in France, a hopeless, deluded idiot." Obviously, being told this would be a real kick in the gut to anyone, even Clouseau. Usually, a normal person being told this would be taken aback and do one of these two things: give up or try to prove them wrong. Clouseau decided to prove them wrong. When you try to prove someone wrong after a humiliating moment, it takes a lot of guts to at least try and recover from it. But as Clouseau is, he has no shame. Despite failing once, he decided to give it another go, this time in wall-colored bodysuits. During his second attempt at arrest, the chief inspector did everything to try and put an end to him. Despite trying to stop Clouseau, Clouseau kept going and made the arrest and received the Medal of Honor. Now you may be thinking, why did I just listen to this girl speak about a dumb cop for 2 minutes? Well, in my opinion, Clouseau did a lot of things people wish they could do, even if it seemed easy, like not caring what other people think, and trying to do something more than once after failure. Personally, ignoring other people's opinions is one of the hardest things to do, because no matter what you do, the voice is always in the back of your head repeating the words they say, whether good or bad. Coupled with trying after failing, it's one thing to try again after a personal failure, but when you try it fail in front of everybody else, you feel dishonored and humiliated, and that feeling usually sticks with you until you prove it wrong or fix it. Although stereotypically he rose to the occasion as a hero, it was in a way many people would not expect, especially for his personality and intelligence level. To me, Clouseau was an inspiration, reminding me that a broken clock is indeed right twice a day. But he also taught me that even someone that no one believes in can get far if they just believe in himself. Thank you.
Now we are going to move to the Mi Hamocha, and once again, I invite you to join in if you know the melody. Oh, Mi Hamocha, Va'ilim Adonai. Oh, Mi Hamocha, Nedar Bakodesh. Oh, Nora Tehilot. Oh, Sefele. Oh, Nora Tehilot. Oh, Sefele. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs. Oh, Mi Chamocha, La'ilim Adonai. Oh, Mi Chamocha, Nedar Bakodesh. Oh, Nora Tehilot. Oh, Sefele. Oh, Nora These songs of freedom, it's all I ever had. Redemption song, these songs of freedom.
So, we're doing Jonah and the whale again. Fascinating. The reluctant hero that I reluctantly learn about every year. I don't know about you, but I've heard this story before. I've heard it for the past 17 years of my life. Jonah says, no, I don't want to go to Nineveh and tell the people to be good, and God is like, haha, too bad. Go anyway. So he hops on a ship and bails, and God is like, nice try, and sends a giant storm that's so bad it's almost like a Tuesday. So Jonah thinks, this inclement weather is my fault. Let me go get out my floaty and jump overboard, or something. And God, who was going through an Aquaman phase, has a whale swallow him. 3 days and one presumably pissed whale later, Jonah gets vomited out. So he says, fine, and he goes and tells the people of Nineveh that sharing is caring, which works somehow. And afterwards, Jonah leaves the city, and there's an epilogue with a tree. I can butcher the story that badly, and you all understood perfectly, because we've heard it that many times. But as I was creating this ripoff of a TED Talk, I realized that the first time I had actually understood this story was a little over a year ago, when I saw Jonah emerge in all his HD, 30 frames per second, 55 gigabyte glory on my PlayStation 4. This is the story of Death Stranding, but it's also the story of Jonah. In Death Stranding, you play as Sam Porter Bridges, a delivery man in the apocalypse. I know, complete ripoff, but hear me out. This game's got everything. Fancy tricycles, upside-down rainbows, the dead float around, robot guys, rain that ages you, zip lines, storms that transport you to world wars, Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, Guillermo del Toro, package thieves, cool umbrellas. Oh, and did I mention the baby strapped to your stomach the entire time? See the connection? No? All right, let me try again. Sam Porter Bridges doesn't like working with other people. Unfortunately for him, he is told by the president / his mom, who, unbeknownst to him, is basically God, to go on a journey to reconnect America. Sam says no, but reluctantly agrees after his mom, who's the president, dies. Not really, though, because she's basically God. So, to begin his adventure, he has to defeat a giant floating whale that's trying to eat him. And only then can he get on the boat that will take him to his journey's beginning. After Sam has successfully reunited America, he has to convince this godlike figure that the world is worth saving, and that by showing the entity kindness, he saves the world. He then chooses to cut ties with America and leaves. Starting to make a little sense? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The main menu, beached whales. The storage centers, more subtle whales. You die? That's okay. Swim through the flooded world to your body, and you can emerge from the beach and be reborn. This 70-hour experience tells the story of Jonah in a way that millions of people can understand, and has changed the life of every person who plays it in a way that nothing else can. The message is connection. Despite never meeting another player during Death Stranding, I had to work with others to reconnect a digital world, donating resources, vehicles, construction signs, and literally building bridges together. Despite their reluctance, Sam and Jonah must work to help others, which ultimately helps themselves. Both stories seem absurd, 'cause they are. But even so, they can teach readers and players to help each other selflessly. Great talk. Who cares? I'm so glad I asked. Now, the story of Jonah is great. It's very dramatic, you know. It is getting a little old. Don't get me wrong, the Torah's stories are still pretty relevant for thousands of years of age, but they're not exactly accessible. The writing's a little old-fashioned, and if I want to read them, I have to learn another language. But not the normal Hebrew, an older version of Hebrew, and if I want to do it properly, I have to learn to chant, and once was enough, thank you very much. All I'm saying is a graphics update wouldn't go amiss. The Torah's stories can be told through a new medium that more people can easily access and better understand with more depth and interactivity, then why shouldn't they? It's always fun to go back and play an old Atari, but I'm going to spend more time with my PlayStation. I can sit on my couch, my game as my Torah, my controller as my Yad, strangers in my Minyan, and services in an SSD. These stories are great, but we can always get a little more creative. Sorry, I have to clear this. Someone's gonna get mad at me.
Please rise for the tefillah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagidei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei v'neihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Hozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, V'chayei hakol atah Rav L'Oshia, Hoi atah, Mechakel hayim b'chesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim b'elfei holim, Umatir asurim, Umechayei emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'geburot, Umido melech, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatmiach Yeshua, Mene'eman atah lechachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol.
Al-Het shehatanu lefaneha. We have sinned against life by failing to work for peace.
Al-Het shehatanu lefaneha. We have sinned against life by ignoring those who suffer in the distant lands.
Al-Het shehatanu lefaneha. We have failed to respect those made in the image of God.
Al-Het shehatanu lefaneha. We have engaged in gossip and repeated slander.
Al-Het shehatanu lefaneha. We have confirmed to fashion and not to conscience.
Al-Het shehatanu lefaneha. We have given meager support to our houses of study.
Al-Het shehatanu lefaneha. We have sinned against ourselves and paid scant heed to the life of the Spirit. Ve'el kulam elo aslik lot salach lanu mechal lanu kaper lanu.
For all these sins, O God of mercy, forgive us, pardon us, grant us atonement.
I asked God for strength that I might achieve.
I was made weak that I might learn to serve.
I asked for health that I might do great things.
I was given infirmity that I might do better things.
I asked for wealth that I might be happy.
I was given poverty that I might be wise.
I asked for power that I might earn the praise of others.
I was given weakness that I might feel the need of God.
I was given life that I might enjoy all things.
I asked for all things that I might enjoy life. I got nothing I asked for, but all I hoped for. Despite myself, my unspoken prayers were answered, and I am, among all people, most richly blessed.
We are now going to move into Oseh Shalom. This is another camp melody, so if you know it, sing it. Oseh Shalom, B'Romam. Oseh Shalom, B'Romam. Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh Shalom. Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh Shalom. Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh Shalom. Alleluia. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Shalom, B'Romam. Oseh Shalom, B'Romam. Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh Shalom. Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh Shalom. Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh, Hu Yaseh Shalom. Alleluia. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Eternal God, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Protect her people with your grace, shelter them with your peace, and grant them deliverance from the violence that surrounds them. May they live in harmony with one another and their neighbors. May the bonds of faith and fate that unite the Jews of all lands be a source of strength to Israel and us all.
Oh, it's not there. Okay. I thought it was going to be there, so I'm going to be at a slight turn for this. Let me start off by being honest real quick. Before the planning of this Yom Kippur service, I had never heard of the term reluctant hero, and my guess is not many of you have either. It's a character type that I've observed many times, but not one that I'd ever noticed enough to put a name to.
At first, I had a hard time trying to realize which characters were reluctant heroes, but more importantly, when I had been a reluctant hero. And that's when it hit me. Throughout this pandemic, the CDC and other health organizations have asked us to protect both ours and our friends' safety by following proper safety COVID guidelines of wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart. At first, it was hard, and I didn't really want to be stuck at home in a lockdown for multiple weeks on end. But I knew that I had to do what was best for me and my community in the long run. So I stayed at home, even when I wanted to go out. As the pandemic has continued, safety regulations have been changed multiple times, now including the vaccine. Nobody likes getting pricked in the arm, but it's important for us. It's important for us to all get the vaccine to stop the mutations and put an end to this virus. While I can't say I enjoy not being able to see some of my friends or having to wear a mask even outside, I know it's a responsibility that I have in order to keep others safe. By wearing our masks and staying COVID safe, I think that each of us are unwilling heroes in our own way. Thank you. Please rise.
This is a non-traditional form of the Aleinu, and it's another call and repeat. So wherever you see parentheses, you repeat after what I sing. Okay? Thank you, Aliana. V'hashevota Ki Adonai Hu Elohim V'nemar V'hai Adonai V'melech HaKol Haaretz V'yom Ha'hu V'yom Ha'hu Yeh Adonai Echad U'shemo 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 Echad. And there's a lot of technical difficulties. I am disabled. This is a part of my identity, much the same as my Judaism or my love for singing and writing. And being disabled comes with a very unique set of challenges, including encountering people every day who, quite frankly, have no idea how to interact with someone like you. This can be extremely hard to navigate, especially since it can be very damaging to feel like many of those around you do not know how to do something that seems incredibly simple, to treat you like a person. It wasn't until I was a freshman in high school that I came to the realization that the best way for people to learn how myself and other disabled people would like to be treated was if I took it upon myself to teach them. And eventually, that's exactly what I did. I've been able to write articles, sit on consulting panels, speak to my teachers, peers, and school administration, as well as the wider Tampa community, in hopes that sharing my experience might be valuable to them in the future. I wouldn't say this necessarily makes me a hero, but sharing vulnerable parts of my life with lots of people has definitely taken courage, and I would like to think that I'm making a positive impact on the world, however small that may be. Above all, I hope that my work is helping to clear a path for those who come after me to follow. Thank you. And finally, we are going to sing the Misha Berach. And this is a prayer for healing. And it's just a very timely thing to do right now. Misha Berach us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach avotenu v'kor hamracha ve'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Please rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma bivrahute v'yamlich mahute, v'chayachon u'vyomachon u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav u'mizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah v'omei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichlu. Le'ela min kol virchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, tameiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, ve'haim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. For our closing song, we are going to sing yet another camp melody. Surprise, surprise. Some of you might know the chorus to this song, so if you do, sing along. And just a little note about this song, it's called Gibor, and Gibor in Hebrew means hero. So I would say that this is a pretty great way to end our service about reluctant heroes. Can you hear it deep inside? You don't have to hide. Listen to your calling. You can open up your mind. Who knows what you'll find? There's no time for stalling. Takshiva kriya tim zata teshuva. Takshiva kriya tim zata teshuva. You find miracles each day, gifts along your way. If you let them guide you, you may sink before you soar, but step onto that shore. The hardest part's behind you. Takshiva kriya tim zata teshuva. Takshiva kriya tim zata teshuva. And that concludes our 2021 Yom Kippur service, SchZFTY style. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope this was meaningful in some way for you. And yes, I'm going to stop talking now.
Give one more big snaps for all of our teens, for all of their hard work. We also want to make sure we thank Becca Pollock for helping our teens facilitate the service today, and all of our teens for being incredibly flexible as we helped them navigate and as they helped us navigate how they wanted to present this afternoon. There will be a short break before we move into our Yisker and Ne'ilah services. So we would love also, if you were here today, or if you're watching us online, and you had the opportunity to experience this amazing service from our teens, it will be archived. So make sure to share the YouTube link with your friends, because the words of these teens this afternoon is something that can certainly help us all realize how important being a hero can be. So thank you, SchZFTY.